Okay, before we get started, I've had another sticker. This one's from Andy over in the States from Alpha Kilo Woodworking. Andy has an Instagram, so I will put a link to Andy's Instagram in the description below. Now, let's get on with this video. Right, I haven't done a pen video for a while, and this one is it's a pen I haven't done before. It's a fountain pen. Right, the tubes on them are quite big. Now, every now and again, as wood turners, we have to come up with a workaround, and I've had to come up with a workaround for this large tube because the drill bits required in it, I can't remember the size, sorry, is actually too big for my Jacob's chuck. So you'll see the workaround in a minute. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is drill out the blanks. I'm using English walnut. So the first thing I'm going to do is give myself a divot in the centre. Right, I'll drill the smaller blank first. Right. Now, this one I happen to know, this drill bit I happen to know is 15-30 seconds. The other one I'm not sure of because it's glued into a handle and I can't remember what the size was. Right, but I'm going to be doing these at about 400. Right. In and out to make sure that I don't cause heat, because with a hole this size it's very easy to cause heat inside a blank, which is going to cause internal cracks, which will make it not easy. It means it could split, and so nice and handy doing this. Especially when you get down deep. Right. And make sure to withdraw your drill bit quite a number of times and get rid of the cuttings. There's a term for that, and I can't say the word now for the moment. There we go, and we're through. Right, take that out. Right. And that's the first hole. Okay. And I have to fix the T-bar on this for this chuck. Okay. There's the first hole in it. Right, in with the second one. Now this I have deliberately cut longer than I need it because I know I'm going to tear out both ends of it because of the way I have to drill it. So what I'll do is I'll drill it and then I'll cut off the two ends, which should give me half decent faces on them. Right. Same again, you get the centre, we set the centre divot, make sure the drill bit goes in straight. Right. And we drill this one out with the same drill bit. Ooh, way too fast. Right, and we're through with that one. Now, this is what I've come up with for the bigger drill bit. I originally had it on just a handle, but I found that I couldn't grip it enough. It's probably something to do with the damage in my hands that I couldn't grip it hard enough. So I've clamped a vice grip onto it as well to stop the turn. Now I'm going to slow it right down here because I need to line this up. Now we're trying not withdraw this one because getting it back in and out can be quite a pain. So I just do it really slowly so as not to build up heat. And there we are through. Right. And that workaround seems to work for me. Somebody else might have a different idea or a better idea. If you have come across that problem where you've got a drill bit that's too big for your Jacob's chuck, drop in a comment and give me the tip. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'll scuff up the two tubes, put them into the blanks and let them go off. I use Gorilla CA gel for doing this. Right, so I'll be back as soon as they're glued up. Right, I'm trying a new camera angle here as well for close-up stuff to try and stop it phasing in and out. Right, so we have the biggest blank. I've used a pen mill to flatten it down to the tubes, and I have the biggest blank on. If I'm doing these large pens, I like to do each section rather than put the two of them on the mandrel. I think, and again it's my opinion, that the extra weight and stuff can wobble the mandrel slightly, ever so slightly, and with a pen ever so slightly means a lot, as you know. Right, so we'll start rounding this one down. Right. Lathe is at 2000 reps. At the end, at the end. Now what I like to do when I'm doing pens is I like to, at the ends, I like to roll it down to kind of I like to try and get to kind of the depth of the bushing first, or close to it. It just, I think it's easier to see. Check for catches. Slight one there. Got it. Right. Now I'm going to sand this one down. And I will start at I'll start at 150. Slow the ride down. As I said, this is English walnut, so it's probably a lot brighter than the black walnut, but getting black walnut over here is nigh on impossible. It basically isn't growing over here. I know there's some trees in the Killarney National Park, which I am lucky enough to have access to. Not those trees, but some of the trees that come down in storms in Killarney National Park. I am very, very lucky to have access to some of it. But it's only trees that come down in storms. To be honest, I wouldn't actually cut down a tree to get wood. They'd have to come down in a storm or something for me to use them. Yeah, that and the exotics. I think I've said this before. I'm lucky enough to have a friend who makes river tables, and he sells me his offcuts. That or I definitely would not have access to the kinds of wood that I'm lucky enough to have access to, especially here in Ireland. The tiger wood, all the fancy woods that I use regularly, I would not have access to them if it wasn't for this guy I get the wood off. Still charging me through the nose for them, but so just the access alone to that kind of wood, which I'm eternally grateful for. The last couple of grits, I always go with the grain. Take them lines out. Right. Right. And 400. Right. Even though I'm going to be using Yorkshire grit, and on this I still get into 400 when I'm doing a pen. Now, you get that clean and see how she's looking. It's very kind of chocolate brown. This wood is the English walnut. It's very kind of chocolate brown in colour. Right. I've actually found that these pens look better in a very dark wood. That's my opinion. Right. The kit, by the way, is an executive. That's what it's called. It's probably known by other names, depending on where you buy it. Like, as we all know, an awful lot of these kits are manufactured in the same place, and it just depends on where you buy them, what they're called. What will give you a clue to the kit and which one it is actually the cap. Where did I put it? Oh, it's here. It's actually this cap. Right. Very heavy cap, and it's got plain silver in it. Right, so that'll give you a clue to the kit I'm using. As I said, where I get it from, it's called an executive, but it's probably called something else somewhere else. Right, okay. Now let's dry some sanding sealer. With a pen, you don't actually need a lot of this stuff. And if you put too much on, you stand a risk of getting streaks. Now it's a case of turn it on and we let that dry for the next step. And we'll be back when that dries. Right, now we're going to use Yorkshire grit on it. I think I've said this before in the last time I did a pen video. I don't like using a CA finish on pens. I think that a wooden pen is not only a visual thing, it's a tactile thing. If you hold a wooden pen, you should know you're holding wood. Which is why I use a wax finish on the pens. Haven't had complaints yet. But so that's just my opinion. Everybody has an opinion, everybody's entitled to an opinion. Yeah. But I just have this thing about you're using wood, you should know you're using wood. Right. You see the black? That's actually off the bushings, not the wood. But it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't. I've never had it make a difference. Right, let's speed it up now to 900. Right. Let's really give the Yorkshire grit a chance to burn in. Well, not burn in as such, but again, watch heat. Remember, you have a very thin piece of wood there. You do not want heat in this at all. Right. Now up to 1100. And you'll see how fast I'm actually moving that. That's so that heat does not build up. Right. Now, clean it off. Make sure there's nothing coming off this at all. Watch for heat. It's getting a little bit warm. A quick look. The biggest killer with pens, getting them to crack and stuff, is heat. It's remember, you have a very thin piece of wood here. Most of this is brass tube and air. Right, it's nearly coming back clean now. Yeah, it's clean now. And then we'll use some Hampshire Sheen high gloss on it. It's time for me to crack open a new tin of this. Right. I'm actually toying with the idea of doing a friction polish on pens just for that, just to see how it comes up. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with the finish that I use, which is Hampshire Sheen high gloss. Now that's the old one. The new one is Hampshire Sheen gloss finishing wax. Right, Martin has made it so it's food and tie safe finish. Right, there's the old one, and there's the new one. Right, I don't actually know if he changed the recipe or not. I just know that he got it certified. Right, so that's the new one, that's the old one. They're the same thing. Okay, they do the same thing. Right. Now we let that dry, and I'll be back. Right, we give that a buff off. Now remember, you're buffing, not burnishing, so very light touch. Right, I just buffing the wax in there, and now I'm up at about 1200 to buff it. Very light touch, Literally just finger pressure. Not even finger pressure. Right. I would literally just be resting my hand on top of that now. No pressure whatsoever. Just buffing it. Right. It's the same thing again. It's heat build up, and heat build up after you put the wax on, it's not only bad for the wood, it's bad for the wax. Right. And there we go. There's the fourth part of the pen. Right. Right. And now it's basically rinse and repeat with the second part, with the bottom of the pen. Apart from there's one difference with this kit, and I'll show it to you now. Right then, there's the second part of the kit. Check clearance, yes. Right, now, on this part of the kit, the bushings are a different size. You have a smaller one and a wider one. There's a cap that goes in there. Now, you have a couple of choices here. You can either turn it in a straight line from that bushing down to that one, or you can come out straight and then put a kind of a little curve from about there down to that one, which is the one I like, because the piece that goes in there is this, right? And as you see, there's a that also has a chamfer in it going down, and what I like to try and do, don't I would succeed, is to match that chamfer from about there down. Right, so I'll just do this one. Right, speed back up to 2000. Right, and again, roll down. Here's just to that. Roll this end. Take it down to there. Now I've got a final cut in. Start bringing it down from there. Check for an edge. There's a slight edge there. There's a slight edge there. So get rid of them. Edge gone. Edge gone. That down for me. Yep. Right, now you see the slight chamfer that I have there? I hope the camera's picking it up. That's to try and match the one that's in the cap. And now same thing again, which is sand, being careful not to build up heat, and finishing the same way. Right, I'll be back then for assembly, which is the fun bit. Right, assembly. Something I always do in assembly is I will always give the ends here a rub on 320. Now, don't do it that way, is moving around. Just put it down and twist it. If you do this, you stand a fair good chance of tearing that wood. Right, and really all you're doing is taking any type of little bore off of it. Doesn't take much. Right. So all you're doing is taking any type of little bore off. Right, and don't put much pressure on, or you will actually raise a bore around the edge there, which you don't want. Right. Then you get on with assembling the parts. Now, this kit comes, right, let's get those bushings out of there. Right, this kit comes like that. Right. To be honest, it can be quite confusing. Right, now the nib is in there, right, which is backwards. Right, you have to unscrew that. Right, then you have basically it's the collar there. That's the top. That's the head. Now, in these, with this part, you can press it in like that, but you stand a chance of cracking that. That unscrews. Right, and just leaves you with that. You know, my opinion is it's better to put that in a vise than that and risk scratching it. Right, yet again, it's just my opinion. Right, then you never assemble a pen without having the instructions beside you. That's just me, I suppose. Right, now we get to assembling this. Right, in my really fancy pen press. Right. First one to assemble is the top part. Right. Pick where there's a pretty bit, and this wood doesn't really make a lot of difference. Right. And press that home. Press that home. You have that bit in. Right. Then the next piece is the acceptor. Right. Where is it? Right. Sorry, I forgot a bit when I was taking it apart there. See here? That unscrews as well. Right. So the next piece is that goes in there. Right. There was something funny there. Right. Double checking the instructions that that's all the right way around. It is. And press it home. Right. And there's the cap. Right, now we get to the second bit. Now what you got to remember here is which end is which. Right, so remember to put that part into the narrower end. Right, that might give you a hand identifying the kit. Again, depends on what name it is where you are. Right, now, I've actually done a couple of these the other day for a client, and he wanted one dark and one light, and I was going to use this English walnut as the light one, but oops, I forgot a ring. But I forgot the little gold ring. Had to look at the two pieces of wood together, and I decided the contrast wasn't really enough. So I found this lovely piece of babinga, and I use that for the lighting. I'd used Indian rosewood for the darker one, and the pair look quite well together actually. Right, screw that one inside. Right. See the way it kind of follows. Right. If you're not gonna basically use these immediately, don't put the cartridge in. Right. I always use the cartridge ones because I think they're just easier on the client than the ones you have to fill from an inkwell. Right. Just drop it inside. Right. Screw that in there. Right. Now these kits come with, the camera picks it up, actually a German nib on them. Now, with a fountain pen, do not test it. Right. The nibs on fountain pens are very personal to the user, and the first time it's used, there's a split there, right there in the middle, and the first time it's used by its end user, it sets an angle there. It kind of twists slightly and it sets an angle, and if that angle is set wrong, it can ruin a pen. So never actually test one of these. Then the cap goes on, and there, if you can see it, is an English Walnut executive, or whatever it's called wherever you are, fountain pen. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. As I said, it's been a while since I did a pen, so I just thought I'd throw one in there. Right, I hope you enjoyed that one, and I'll see you in the next one.